Hello students, good morning. Today we are going to see Unit 8 Organization of Life Part 2. Students, in earlier session we studied organization of cells and tissues, biological levels of organization, cell, tissues, organ system and respiratory system. Do you remember children? Yes, let us recall it once again. Organization of life. The variations are not only in size but also in the complexity of their cells, tissues of the body structure. This is called organization of life. We have two types of organisms. What are they? Unicellular organism and multicellular organism. The body of amoeba look like a single cell, while higher animals are made up of billions of cells. Bacteria, yeast and amoeba have a single cell body. So they are called unicellular organisms. What is multicellular organism? Human beings, cows and trees are made of a large number of cells. So they are called multicellular organisms. Do you understand children? Next, prokaryote and eukaryotes. This is prokaryotic cell, this is eukaryotic cell. What is the difference between them? In prokaryotes, organisms like bacteria, cyanobacteria and mycoplasma, no true nucleus is seen. This is the one and only difference between both. These organisms are called prokaryotes. Nucleus is absent in prokaryotes, but in eukaryotic cell, nucleus covered by membrane is seen. The cells of amoeba, animals and plants, a well-defined nucleus covered by membrane is seen. These organisms are called eukaryotes. Next, biological levels of organization. The biological organization shows the hierarchy in organization levels from simplest to more complex. These are the different level of organization. Cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, organism. These are the different levels of organization. Next, cell. What is cell? A cell is the basic unit of structure and function in an organism. All organisms are made of one or more cells. Next, stem cell. A stem cell is essentially a blank cell capable of becoming another more differentiated cell type in the body, such as a skin cell, a muscle cell or a nerve cell. What is the role of stem cell? Stem cells can be used to replace or even heal the damaged tissues in the body. They can serve as a built-in repair system for the human body, replenishing other cells as long as a person is still alive. This is the importance of stem cell. These are the types of stem cell. Nerve cells, liver cells, blood and immune cells, red blood cells. Next, tissue. Tissue is nothing but a group of similar cells that function together to perform a specialized activity. There are four kinds of tissues. First one, epithelial tissue. Covers body surfaces, lines body cavities, hollow organs that is production and ducts and forms glands that is secretion. Next, connective tissue. Connective tissue is nothing but supporting tissue. Supports the body and binds its organs. Binds organs together. Stores energy reserves as fat and provides immunity. Muscular tissue. Muscular tissue is nothing but tissues for movements and locomotion, for contraction, that is movements and locomotion. Next, nerve tissue. Nerve tissue initiate and transmit nerve impulse that coordinate body activities. These are the types of tissues. What is an organ? An organ is something which does a particular job in the body. An organ is made of from different types of tissues, organized to carry out a particular function. For example, brain, heart, lungs, kidney, liver, etc. Each of which has specific function. Most organs are made up of all four types of tissues. Next, human respiratory system. Our respiratory system consists of organs like trachea, bronchi, and lungs, which are responsible for exchange of air between the atmosphere and the blood. Together, these organs form what is called the respiratory tract. So this is the respiratory system. What are they? Nasal passage, trachea, lungs. This is the important respiratory system in our body. These are the cardiovascular system, heart, blood, vessels. The respiratory system is responsible for getting oxygen from the atmosphere and bringing it to our lungs. The system is generally comprised of the nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea, lungs. Do you understand, children? Students, in this session we will discuss about homeostasis, diffusion, osmosis, osmoregulation, cellular respiration, and metabolism. These topics are covered in the page number 108 to 112 in our textbook. Let us see one by one.
First, homeostasis. What is homeostasis? In biology, homeostasis is the state of steady internal physical and chemical conditions maintained by living system. So, homeostasis is nothing but state of steady. Homeostasis is a property of a human biological system where the self-regulating process tends to maintain the balance for the survival. The regulation takes place in a defined internal environment, that is mammals. Mammals are capable of maintaining a constant body temperature despite the changes in the external temperature. Behavioral and psychological responses are two important regulating mechanisms that maintain the stability of homeostasis. What are they? Behavioral and psychological. Both are responsible for maintaining the stability of homeostasis. Do you understand, children? See one example. Human beings are warm-blooded in nature. That is, they maintain their body temperature as constant. When the body temperature rises, sweat is produced. What is the reason? To bring the temperature down. Then only our body temperature will be maintained. Isn't it? Yes. Similarly, when the body temperature lower heat is produced by the muscular work by shivering. In simple terms, it could be referred as a balance in a system to maintain a stable internal environment for a survival of the animal. If the homeostasis regulates successfully, life continues. Or if unsuccessful, death or disorder occurs. Do you follow, children? All the process of integration and coordination of function are mediated by nerves and hormonal system. That is, the liver, kidneys and brain, autonomic nervous system and the endocrine system help to maintain homeostasis. Let us see one by one. First, brain. That is, hypothalamus regulates temperature and osmotic pressure. Role of kidney. Kidney maintain water balance. Blood. Blood distribute heat throughout body. Evaporation of water helps regulate body temperature. Next, pancreas. Pancreas regulates blood sugar. Skeletal muscle contracts and release heat. So, homeostasis is the state of steady internal physical and chemical conditions maintained by living systems. Do you understand, children? These are the variables. What are they? Body temperature, fluid balance, blood sugar. See another one example. Blood glucose level rises. Pancreas increase insulin. Body cells take up glucose. Liver takes up glucose. Blood glucose level decline. Then only homeostasis level maintained. Next, diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of particles from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. It occurs due to the random movement of particles. The overall effect is to equalize concentration throughout the medium. A passive process, which means that no energy is needed for this diffusion. Do you follow, children? What is diffusion? Diffusion is nothing but the particle move from high concentration to low concentration. Let us see examples. Students, you know about perfume, isn't it? Yes. Perfume filling a whole room and the movement of small molecules across a cell membrane. Another one example, adding a drop of ink to water. These are the examples of diffusion. What will happen here? Yes, the particles move from high concentration to low concentration. It is nothing but diffusion. Next, what will happen when an incense stick is lit up in a room? How do we feel? The fragrance spread the entire room. The movement of molecules, that is ions, from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration. Example, you can smell incense stick after lighting because the smoke diffuses in the air and makes its way to your nose. Do you understand, children? Next, osmosis. Osmosis is the movement of solvent particles across a semi-permeable membrane from a dilute solution into a concentrated solution. The solvent moves to dilute the concentrated solution and equalize the concentration on both sides of the membrane. The name of this process is known as osmosis. Do you follow, children? Osmosis is nothing but the solvent moves to dilute the concentrated solution and equalize the concentration on both sides of the membrane. The movement of liquids in and out cells is dependent on the concentration of the solution surrounding it. There are three types of situations in which this could vary. What are they? Isotonic, hypotonic and hypertonic. Iso means same, hypo means less, hyper means high. Let us see one by one. First, isotonic. Here, the concentration of external and internal solution of the organism are the same. Amount of water transported into the cell equal to the amount of water transported out from the cell. Both are same. Solute concentration inside the cell is equal to the solution outside the cell. This is isotonic. Next, hypotonic solution. Hypo means less. A solution or environment surrounding a cell that has less dissolved solutes and more water than the cell. This type of solution will cause water to move into the cell via osmosis, resulting in swelling of the cell. So hypotonic means the external solution concentration is less compared to the concentration of the inner solution of an organism. In this case, water will rush into the organism. Do you follow, children? Next, hypertonic solution. Hyper means over or above. Hypertonic means there is a higher solute concentration on the outside of the cell than on the inside of the cell. The external solution concentration is greater than the concentration of the inner solution of the organism. In this case, the water will rush out of the organism. See here, inside the cell have 20% solute, 80% of water, but outside cell have 40% solute and 60% water. Do you understand, children? See here, what is isotonic? Isotonic have both are same, external and internal solution of the organism are the same. See, internal organism have 4 molecules, external also 4, right? Hypotonic means external solution concentration is less comparing to the internal organism. So internal organism have 4 cell but external 2. Hypertonic means external solution concentration is greater than the concentration of the inner solution of the organism, isn't it? So here internal organism have 4, external organism have more than 4. This type of solution is called hypertonic. Next, osmoregulation. Osmoregulation is the process by which an organism regulates the water balance in its body and maintains the homeostasis of the body. It includes controlling excess water loss or gain and maintaining the fluid balance and the osmotic concentration, that is, the concentration of electrolytes. It ensures that the fluids in the body do not get too diluted or concentrated. So osmoregulation is nothing but balance of uptake and loss of water and solutes. Controlled movement of solute between internal fluid and environment. There are two major types of osmoregulations. What are they? Osmoconformers and osmoregulator. Osmoconformers is nothing but the organisms try to maintain the osmolality of their body matching with their surroundings. For example, marine animals isomatic with environment. Most of the invertebrates, marine organism are osmoconformers. What is osmoregulator? Osmoregulator is the organisms maintain their internal osmolality, which can be extremely different from that of the surrounding environment through psychological process. For example, freshwater, marine and terrestrial animals that adjust internal osmolality. Let us see one by one. First, osmoregulation in a freshwater fish. How our freshwater fish maintain this osmoregulation? Let us see. This arrow mark represent water. This arrow mark represent salt. This is a way of gain of water and some ions in food. This gills used to uptake of salt ions. This osmotic water gained through gills and other parts of the body surface. This is the excretion of salt ions and a large amount of water in dilute urine from kidneys. This is a method of maintaining osmoregulation in a freshwater fish. Do you follow, children? Next, osmoregulation in a marine fish. Gain of water and salt ion from food. This is gain of water and salt ions from drinking seawater because these fish live in a sea, right? So, osmotic water lost through gills and other parts of body surface. This is the excretion of salt ion and small amount of water in scanty urine from kidneys. These are the methods to maintaining osmoregulation in a marine fish. Next, cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is the process by which organism break down glucose into form that the cell can use as energy. This is glucose. These are the steps. First step, glucose, pyruvic acid, and then Krebs cycle. Next, electron transport. Then finally, it produced energy in the form of ATP. So the energy is then made available to living cells in the form of ATP. Cellular respiration takes place in the cytoplasm and mitochondria of the cells. Here only cellular respiration takes place. Right, cellular respiration is classified into two types. What are they? Aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Let us see one by one. First, aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is nothing but presence of oxygen. Then only aerobic respiration it occurs. In this type of respiration, the food substance are completely oxidized into H2O and carbon dioxide with the release of energy. It requires atmospheric oxygen and all higher organisms respire aerobically. Do you follow, children? So, this is glycolysis. Glycolysis is nothing but glucose in the presence of oxygen. It breaks down into H2O, carbon dioxide, and release high level of energy. So, it can be written as glucose plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide, water, and energy. So, aerobic respiration is required in the presence of oxygen only. Next, anaerobic respiration. In this type of respiration, partial oxidation of food takes place and the organism releases energy in the absence of oxygen. This type of respiration occurs in organisms like yeast. Ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide are the byproduct of this process. This reaction releases very little energy because glucose is not completely oxidized. So, in this process we get very little amount of energy only. For example, yeast cell converts glucose into carbon dioxide and energy, ethanol. So, how to write the equation? Glucose gives ethanol plus carbon dioxide plus energy. Do you follow, children? Let us see comparison of aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration or fermentation. Aerobic respiration uses oxygen, carbon dioxide and water are produced. 38 ATP produced. These organ respiration controlled by enzymes. Carbon dioxide always produced. Here it does not use oxygen. Lactic acid and alcohol are produced. 2 ATP only produced because in the absence of oxygen it releases little amount of energy, isn't it? Yes, this anaerobic respiration controlled by enzymes. Carbon dioxide produced only in alcoholic fermentation. What are the steps involved in this aerobic respiration? Glycolysis, pyruvate oxidation, Krebs cycle, electron transport chain. These are the steps included in this respiration. Here, glycolysis only. Here seen in most organisms. In anaerobic respiration seen only in some bacteria, fungi and human body. These are the comparison of aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Do you follow, children? Next, we move to metabolism. What is metabolism? Metabolism is the sum of chemical reactions by which living organisms sustain their life. See here, this is food. This food is act as a fuel. This fuel converts energy. This energy is used to do work. These are the biochemistry wastage. So oxygen, water, dry food, chemical energy. These are the goes in our body. Carbon dioxide, sweat and breath, urine, faces, heat. These are the goes out in our body. Do you follow, children? Metabolism consists of anabolism and catabolism. So, the term metabolism is commonly used to refer specifically to the breakdown of food and its transformation into energy, cellular products, and waste elimination. Let us see one by one. First, what is anabolism? Anabolism is a synthesis of large molecules. Catabolism is breakdown of large molecules. First, anabolism. Anabolism or constructive metabolism is all about building and storing. It supports the growth of new cells, the maintenance of body tissues, and the storage of energy for use in the future. During anabolism, small molecules are changed into larger, more complex molecules of carbohydrate, protein, and fat. For example, glucose gives glycogen and other sugars. Amino acid gives enzymes, hormones, proteins. Fatty acids gives cholesterol and other steroids. So, small molecule are changed into large, more complex molecules of carbohydrates, protein and fat. This is the anabolism. Do you follow, children? Anabolism is a constructive metabolism. It makes large molecules. So, the small molecules are changed into large molecules. Next, catabolism. Catabolism or destructive metabolism is the process that produces the energy required for all activity in the cells. In this process, cells break down large molecules, mostly carbohydrate and fat, to release energy. This energy release provides fuel for anabolism, heats the body, and enables the muscles to contract and the body to move. This is the large molecule. This large molecule release energy and break down small molecules. This process is nothing but catabolism. So what is anabolism? Anabolism is nothing but small molecules to form a large molecule. The name of the process is anabolism. In catabolism, the complex chemical units are broken down into more simple substance. The waste product released in the process of catabolism are removed from the body through the skin, kidneys, lungs and intestines. Examples for catabolism. Carbohydrates gives glucose. Glucose gives carbon dioxide, water and heat. Protein gives amino acid. The repeated anabolism and catabolism reactions maintain the homeostatic condition in the organism. The metabolic process is the cause for maintaining ionic balance in the body. It is also responsible for movement, growth, development, maintenance and repair of the cells, tissues and the human body. These metabolic reactions occurs in different organs of living species. These are the ATP couples energy between anabolism and catabolism. So anabolism, energy available for work and chemical synthesis, that is movement, signal, amplification, etc. In catabolism, energy from food, that is fuel molecules, or from photosynthesis. These are the ATP couples energy between catabolism and anabolism. Do you understand, children? Let us see evaluation for this session. Which organ and organ system help to maintain homeostasis? Define osmosis. Differentiate between osmoconformers and osmoregulators. Define metabolism. What is hypotonic? Students, find the answer for all these questions and write down in your notebook. Student, use this link for further clarification of this session. Thank you.